Well, hello there, old chap. Welcome once again to my room. It's been a minute, and it might be a minute after this, we'll see. But I'm back. We're going to have some fun today. Yeah, welcome back. It should be just the way you remember it, except I don't know if I had this lovely guitar rack behind me last time I made one of these videos. I don't think I did, but maybe I did. We'll go back and check. And yeah, my snowman's still here. You can watch him slowly melt over the course of this video. We are finally tackling my second album to date, Shoes to Fill. It is on Spotify. It should be on all your favorite platforms as well, so you can listen to that at your leisure if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. With Mind Map, my first album, I pretty much did the breakdowns sessions like right after, like the next week or the next 2 weeks. And it's been a couple months since I released that album at this point, and I haven't gotten around to it. I've been super busy, but I'm not going to get into that, just normal, boring stuff. But I'm going to try and now dig into it, find some opportunities, and slowly but surely work my way through these songs because I've got a lot to talk about with these songs. There's a little bit more to some of them than on my first album, just track wise and meaning wise. I really dove into a lot of new things with this album. Really did a lot more with the bass, like the actual electric bass. So I was using my U bass for most of the songs in the last album, but I finally, it's back there on that rack. I'm pointing the wrong way. Yeah, like a full-size bass that I've been playing with. That's been a lot of fun. Did some piano stuff. And yeah, we're going to get into all that. But in the last series, I went through those songs in the order that I wrote them. But I think we're going to keep it simple, stupid, or keep it stupid, simple, however you want. And we're just going to do the track order on the album. That's the order that we're going to tackle these. And that should be fun. And that gives us the chance to start with a real banger, a real fun one, a real heavy hitter. And without further ado, we're going to get into it. So I'm gonna actually don these fun little glasses here because today is all about being cool. And what could be more cool than this? I did just shower, which is why my hair is a bit more shiny, reflective than maybe you're used to. Also, sorry to keep delaying this, but I'm wearing my Jacob Collier shirt. This is actually the Well shirt. Let me see if you can see that. There we go. Which, yeah, at the time of recording this, he just recently, a week or two ago, released Jesse Volume 4, the final edition in the Jesse series. Go listen to that. If you haven't, what are you doing? You gotta do it. I've been listening to it ardently. I gotta say, it's definitely more. I don't know how to put this, but there's definitely some songs that stand out to me in that album more so than his other ones. There are some that are just not for me, I think, but there's a lot of good stuff on that album. And yeah, I won't talk about that just yet. Let's actually get into this now. Let me put on my headphones real quick, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, magic. Here we are in the Logic session. I wish I'd set it up so you could see the whole thing before we start. I never remember how to... There we go. I don't usually use that quick key, but I should learn to do that more efficiently. But anyways, here we go. Here's the Logic session. Let's do a quick track count here, or a region count rather. 267 regions. Not too shabby, but nothing crazy. You can see most of them are just kind of split up, which is kind of how I do things. And then we've got a lot of muted ones. We'll get into why that is in a little bit, because this song went through quite a process. So, a little bit of background on this one. This was actually not written by me. I did not write this song. I did contribute pretty liberally to the arrangement of it, adding some extra stuff, figuring out how that was going to work. But the lyrics and the general tune were actually written by my dad, my dear old dad. We've collaborated quite a lot on some projects. Mostly him sending me some ideas, me recording something up, or recording a specific part and sending it back to him, or him recording a solo for some of my stuff. There's some back and forth, but this one was written by him. Actually, let me pull up the original recording that I've kind of been sitting on for several years. This was during COVID. Um, this was April 2020, April 8th, 2020, right at the height of the pandemic, when my dad, we couldn't even properly sit next to each other. He had to come. He came and visited here, and we were sitting like a couple feet apart on the front porch. He brought his little guitar, and he was playing this idea for me. Just, I think, honestly, at that point, just because I wasn't doing so great, and he was trying to give me something to do. But I could never really get anywhere with it. But this is what he played for me. Let me see. I know you, if you want war, I'll give you war, but I'll ask you what you want it for. I know you need more, and I'd give you more if I had it. Kind of catchy. It is indeed kind of catchy. So he played that for me. I recorded it on my phone just to have it. I kind of played around with it in my head, but just sort of let it languish. And then as I was writing songs for this album, it just kept coming back into my head, like, I think I could do something with this. So that's the basic thing. He had all the lyrics, he sent them to me, but that was the thing was just bump dun da ba da 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 ba da da da, and the general chords and stuff. And that was, of course, with an acoustic guitar, but I think he had in mind a more sort of power ballad feel with electric guitar, electric bass, some sort of percussion thing. And so this is what he sent me, I think, a couple months ago when I asked him, hey, like, I want to revisit this song. Do you have any sort of direction that you were thinking? And so he sent me this. This is a track that I just had here at the top just to reference. And again, I need to get those quick keys down, but here we go. Yeah. So that's the general gist. Let's go to the chorus. Yeah, there we go. So that's basically, of course, sans lyrics. That's the general idea. And I thought that was great. I think actually he was recording that with his looper pedal. So he's got a pedal, you just tap on it, you record something, you tap it again, you can do it. I think it was. Maybe not. Maybe that was just, yeah, because I think he had a like a percussion in the background. And then the rest was just played. And that became this. Yeah. So that's a couple parts. We'll get into those. But this was played on my dad's Epiphone electric guitar. It's like I don't know the exact model, but it's a dark red Epiphone, which I thought was pronounced Epiphany because I don't know, it just sounds cooler, like Persephone or Penelope. But I don't know. Apparently, it's Epiphone. I've been told. But you be the judge of that in the comments. And so that's what I played it on. Actually, that was me directly plugged into here because I was not about to do what he did and put a mic up to an electric guitar amp and record it like that, which worked for his demo. But yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. So here we go. This is like the main part, I think. No? Oh right, the solo's a separate thing. So the chords are just this. So really, kind of an interesting chord progression. I do like it. So you got, bum. By the way, this is an E minor, like the song itself. So we got our minor 6, bum, and then we got, well, I'll yeah. So, yeah, I need to think about this. Minor 6, minor 3, 4, and then we have our sort of major 3. I'm talking about this as in major chords. I'm probably flubbing this a little bit, like as in if it was in G major. But if not, then it would just be. Let me actually. I don't have the electric here. I should have got my guitar closer here, but I'll grab it. And I'll see if I can remember how I played it. Say hello to the old Gibson again. Lovely guitar. Come on, camera. Don't do this to me. Are you focused? Oh well. Boom. Let's go back to full screen. No, you are not. Come on now. I've been having this issue. It doesn't want to acknowledge that I'm here. It seems to be intent. Are you kidding me? This is one of those things that's like, oh, there we go. Yeah, so I think it's, yeah. And then major. And then, or I had a, so on the electric, it's you know, a little easier, but and then you got the minor up 1 fret. Now it's major, and then you got that little suspension there. And then I'll go ahead and show you the chorus. It was yeah, I think that's. It's getting up there. I don't really go this high on the neck normally, so it's a little tough. It squishes my fingers together. But yeah, so it's there's your A minor. I go fast and you down to back to the A, and then what did I do? Or maybe I went yes. Then I did sort of this bar thing. So then I could go, had it. So, and there you go. Pretty simple, just that same pattern throughout. And those are the chords there. And of course, again, that was played on the electric guitar. Put this back. So, now that we've got that out of the way, I feel like a little disheveled today. You'll have to excuse me. A little disorganized. But it's a Friday night, so can you really blame me? So that's what we had there. And then I was like, that's missing something. So then I added this part. Oh, gotta go back. Boop. Here we go. I added this. Just some arpeggios there, and so that both of those together are pretty fulfilling guitar part there, and that's basically the same throughout. We'll get to the chorus eventually, but then we got this solo as well. A lot of bends. Yeah. And I don't remember what are you? Why are you here? What is this? Alright, that belongs nowhere in this song. I think I was just noodling and just put that there for some reason. Alright. Well, so altogether, that's the guitar part there. And I think, is this just... No, that's the arpeggios. Yeah, so that's what that is. Then we got our bass part. There's a lot of really cool bass moments that I would love to go over in this song. But but I was really just trying to go for like a really really crunchy bass sound with a lot of treble in it, because normally sometimes I'd kind of eliminate the treble in the bass sound. It's just there for the foundation, so you don't even really hear the string itself or like the sound or the I just want you to hear that. But in this case, yeah, I do want the like boom, boom, that sort of thing. Then as far as percussion goes, let's come down here. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the way my naming, my nomenclature for these tracks down here. But all that I left in the final song is this. So we got our hi-hat, or height, as I said, which is just that classic sort of rhythm pretty much throughout. It does change a little in the chorus. And then we got this. Oh, that's the same thing. Oh. Yeah, so for the most part, that's it. And I did initially have these as well. So you have this snare that's kind of on the offbeats, the dun 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 ka, ba dun ba dun dun ka, and then the kick drum, of course. So I had all those, and I sent it to my dad. I was like, I know you wanted some percussion. What do you think of that? And he was like, honestly, you could lose some of that. Like, it does sound a little busy. There's already a lot going on with the bass and the guitar, so I don't know. And I was like, all right, that's fair. So I got rid of everything except for the hi-hat, and then there's a couple extra things later on that we'll get to. But yeah, so I didn't want to go too hard as far as like, you know, the percussion. That's not really my forte anyways. I can get away with some simpler stuff, but I'm not a drummer, and it's just, I don't, it's not even that I can't necessarily perform it well, and I have to do each part in MIDI separately, but my ear when it comes to percussion just is not nearly as sophisticated. I just prefer to do simpler stuff. But for what it's worth, that is what's there. So all together it comes to make this. Yeah, that got that. Boom. I like that. There we go. I guess I should actually mention what the exact amp I was using for these guys. Looks like it was Clean R&B Bright. I do generally prefer, and here's the EQ, I do generally prefer a more clean sound when it comes to electric guitars. I'm not a huge rock guy. Oh, and I guess the arpeggios were clean jazz fat. I can't read today. I prefer a cleaner sound. I'm not a huge rock guy. And you know, so it is what it is. I like a nice jazzy electric guitar, or like a nice clean sound, and so that's what I decided. I didn't want like a super crunchy, nasty sound, although there's certainly a time and place for that, but not in my house. So that's what we got, and then we bring in our vocals. We've got quite a few at all times. I wanted this to be kind of a really thick vocal sound, and so that's what I have here.
I just had a daydream that unsettled me and punctured my poise. I wrote you a poem, you called it over sentimental noise.
Yeah, so we got 5 going. I intentionally left it also not perfectly tuned. I generally do some flex work, but I tried to, unless there was something that was really standing out to me as being like off, I kind of left it as is. And so that was sort of my philosophy for the vocals. There's not a ton of vocal harmony either until we get to the end. Or maybe there is some later on, but yeah, it's mostly just I wanted to layer quite a bit of vocals. So that's why there's so many vocal tracks there. But yeah, let's just keep going here.
I just had a daydream that unsettled me and punctured my poise.
Again, you're gonna see a lot of patterns with my arranging. The bass line kind of starts off really simple, just playing on all like the first beats. But there's some inflections in there. Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice one. Huge bass inspiration for me. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Lee Sklar, or Leland Sklar, of James Taylor, Phil Collins fame. Go listen to some of his stuff. I'm sure you have. You can't have not heard Lee Sklar because he's one of the most recorded bassists ever at this point. He's on like thousands, hundreds, maybe thousands of records. He's just contributed an insane amount of music to the world. But he was the bassist for James Taylor for a while. And his bass lines are very distinct. He's got a very distinct sound on his bass as well. And so I really try to emulate some of that. It's just worth noting. It's one of the few bass players I could actually like say quite a bit about. I don't listen. I don't necessarily know a lot of names in the bass world, but he's definitely one of them. So yeah, that's that. And then it gets more complex as we go.
Let me down, I'll let you.
That's one of my favorite licks or moments in.
Over sentimental noise. You let me down, I'll let you.
The I let you, and then the bass part goes. Yeah. Yeah, it's just fun.
Noise. You let me down, I'll let you. I thought you were a friend and a better than. You thought I didn't get you.
Yeah, so the verses here, there's kind of that like ba-da-da-da-da-da, which my dad very specifically told me when I was like doing this, don't do that exact same like melody for every like line, because it could kind of get old. Like it's kind of that na 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 boo boo type of sound, and if I were to do that, so I did mix it up a little bit, because if I were to do that every time, it could kind of get it could maybe overstay its welcome. But it is very catchy. I mean, I found myself singing this in my head for days after I was working on it, especially the chorus, which we're almost at.
The one that was God in the end.
Yeah, so we got this sort of.
I am the one that was God in the end.
So we're ending on the dominant 7 in the melody, which is interesting because the chord is a B dominant 7 chord, but we're singing in that in the melody, singing in A, and so the bass line is going yeah.
And I am the one that was God in the end. I go fast and you go slow. I'm all yes and you say no. Now I think it's time for me to go, 'cause I've had it.
Yeah. So you can hear, I trust,
I just had
I went back too far, that I have added this. Hello? What?
go slow.
I don't know why it's not playing. What? Oh, this is the wrong track, maybe? Where did it go? Oh, that's just what the hi-hats are doing. My bad.
I go fast.
Yeah. So instead of going tss, 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 they're just going tss, 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 tss. I just thought it fit a little bit better on like the more intense chorus. So that's what I
You
did.
say no. Now I think it's time for me to go, 'cause I've had it.
Yeah. And then I had this sort of philosophy that in every one of these little blank moments here,
'Cause I've had it.
that I would throw in a fun bass lick, because without it, it's just this.
To go, 'cause I've had it.
Oh, well, I guess there's that fun drum fill as well. But there is kind of some dead space there, which is sometimes good, but I did want to fill it with something fun. And yeah, so I then added some toms as well. Doom, doom, ga-dum. Added a lot of those. But yeah, so in this case, the bass line is...
If you want war, I've had it. If you want,
yeah, so those were always fun to figure out what I was going to put in that gap.
if you want war, I'll give you war, but I'll ask you what you want it for. I know you need more, and I'd give you more if I had it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Some of these might have been very speeded.
If you want war, I'll give you war.
No? I don't know.
If you want war, I'll give you war, but I'll ask you what you want it for.
Maybe not. I thought I maybe mixed it up a little bit by doing some very speed. Maybe I did. By like recording it at a higher pitch, and then it would lower and sort of change the format. I think I just sort of recorded them sort of with different tones in my own voice. Some of them were like a little more whiny, and some of them were like that. A lot of slides like, if you want war, I'll give you war, but I'll ask you what you want it for. Kind of like that. Trying to make it a little different every time, but also so they kind of mesh together really well. And so the bass, I do like the bass section in the chorus. Yeah, I was really playing around with some fun licks there. So like you got it's not the cleanest, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, that's a fun one. I like those slides, whatever you call those. And then yeah, the toms you got da 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 da. Yeah, so
I tried to learn your chemistry.
yeah, and that brings us into this one. So yeah, we're back to the ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. And I don't know if anybody would have noticed this. It was very hard for me to even hear it, even though I knew that I had done it. I sometimes forgot that it was in there. But I thought I'd be a little cute, a little on the nose. Tried to learn your chemistry. Here's bubbles that are traveling from one side of your ear to the next and then back. And they're very quiet in the background with everything else added. But I just thought chemistry, like bubbles in a test tube, sort of a thing. You can barely hear it in there.
Chemistry, how exactly to act and react.
Yeah, you can hear it sort of at the edges of your ears. Again, just a little fun thing from yours truly. Everything else is basically the same. The bass line is a little more involved. It's interesting. I'm trying to think of like how I really go about doing a bass line. You can see you can see just by the way everything's laid out how I do the guitar stuff, and obviously like this entire line here is how long I was recording on the guitar. I can go into custom and see. Actually, oh wait, okay, hold on. So that's, yeah, this is minutes. Yeah, 26 minutes. That's actually not that long. That's this number here. So I was recording for like 26 minutes straight. Not that long again. I've gone over an hour, hour and a half sometimes when I really just can't get it, or it's a long song. And I'll record everything I need. Like starting at the beginning, I record everything I need to do as many takes as I need before I get it right, move on to the next thing. And yes, it's kind of a nightmare to go back through all of that. I kind of dread it. Sometimes I like record stuff for several songs when I'm in like a recording mood, or I've got the house to myself for a while, everything is going to be quiet. I'll record for like a bunch of songs at once, and then like the next day I'm like, oh, I got to go back and edit or splice out and get, all of the ones that I need and then line them up together. I know that a lot of people would just never like even consider doing that. And there's probably a much more efficient way, but I want to get it just right. And if I just sat here like rewinded the one specific part and tried to press record and then play it, and I mess up and I go back and record, it would just be maddening. For me, I'd rather just sit, press record, and just go. Like do it, just keep doing it until I get it right, then move on. That's kind of how I operate. That being said, with bass lines, you can see I actually do utilize this take function. Like you can do multiple takes over the same stretch. Because I find, again, like having everything just perfect with the bass line is less crucial because it's under everything. You don't necessarily hear every detail as long as it's relatively right. All the rhythms are there. and the notes are correct, obviously, then every tiny little inflection doesn't matter as much to me, to my ears. And so I am more willing to like go for a longer stretch in a specific spot, record a couple takes so I still have some options. And then and it's much easier that way to go through and do that, and then I don't have to go back and do all this crazy editing. But that is worth noting. So, I mean, most of this bass stuff is me kind of on the fly, just inventing something as I go. Like, moving on to the next section, now I gotta play around with it, have it on loop. I play it like 10 times until I come up with something cool, and then I start recording. So, yeah, that's kind of what I do with bass lines.
I've had it,
Where were we? We were over here.
cause I've had it.
Oh, wait, that's too far.
I tried to teach you history.
Yeah. So we're moving on here. We did the bubbles, did all that good stuff. Now we're teaching history, aren't we?
I tried to teach you history. How every volcano must blow.
Yeah, so I went a little bit more quiet with this verse, which I think works. Actually, I skipped a vocal moment I want to go back to. Sorry, one sec.
Your chemistry. But you just made a mess of me.
Yeah, so that's where I diverted a little bit from the, or diverged from the da 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 da. I added a harmony. Da! I can't sing that high right now. Shouldn't have even tried.
But you just made a mess of me.
Yeah, so you got that.
But you just made a mess of me.
And then there is still the "you just made a mess of me" normal, but I just added that little bit of.
But you just made a mess of me. Made every lesson into an attack.
Yeah.
I tried.
So we still got the arpeggios, but it's just. Yeah, so I intentionally left it just a little more sparse to sort of settle down for that one verse before we sort of explode again. And the arpeggios are still. Bass line is more simple as well.
Mystery. You didn't want to know, I know. And if you want more, I'll give you more.
So I am trying to mix it up a little with the melody as well.
But you prefer the mystery.
So yeah, instead of "you preferred the mystery," because you've already heard that melody 1,000 times, I instead go down, sort of subvert your expectation a little bit.
But you prefer the mystery. You didn't want to know, I know. And if you want more, I'll give you more. I know you need more, I've got no more. So come, test your metal, let's settle this score. Cause I've had it.
That line was a little tricky to figure out. Do I have the lyrics here? Yes. We'll get into these a little bit more in a minute. But he just kind of gave me these lyrics. He didn't actually sing through the whole thing. He gave me the melody for the verse and the chorus, and then all the lyrics. And so I was trying to figure out, like, come test your metal, let's settle this score. It's not the easiest line to fit into that meter that we had set up. I know you need more and I give you more. So come test your metal, let's settle this score. Let's settle this score cause I had it. See, yeah, it's a little trickier to work it out, but so I just had a sort of come test your metal, let's settle this score. A little bit more syncopated almost, to sort of make that work. Again, that's just one of the artifacts of me not necessarily writing all of the lyrics, because these lyrics are much different than what I would write. Me and my dad have a very different sort of approach when it comes to lyrics, which I think it's pretty cool. Like, we both sort of, that's how we can really surprise each other and bounce ideas off each other. But yeah, my approach is very different. I'm still trying to sort of articulate what exactly it is, my specific approach, how I go about it. But his are definitely, I don't know, they stand a little stronger as just pieces of writing, I think. Not that they don't make good songs, it's just, I don't know, like they're just much yeah, again, I'm struggling to describe it, but yeah, um, that lost where I was going with that. Um, Test your metal, settle the score. This is bringing us into a fun section here.
Settle
So
this score, cause I've had it.
yeah, there you go. So that's a fun lick there. And we've got another da-dum-ka, da-dum-ka, something. Yeah. And then I added a wood block here. No. Call them back later. I added a wood block here because my dad did specifically mention, he was like, yeah, it'd be fun if there was a wood block somewhere. And so I was like, all right, say no more. I'm partial to a good wood block. And here's the solo, which was done by my dad. He did play this. And it says flug here. You know what? I don't even remember. I think if it says flug, which is not a word, I don't think, it must be a flugelhorn. I remember this distinctly in my head. It was like, oh, it's funny how it sounds like this, but it's actually this. I think it was a flugelhorn. And I just EQ'd it a little. Yeah. But it could have very well been a trumpet that just happened to sound like a flugelhorn when I put the filters on it. I don't remember. I wish I did. But this is either a trumpet or a flugelhorn, both of which my dad has access to. And it's really cool. Yeah, so it's definitely overloading a little bit because he recorded it, I think, just on his phone, and it wasn't great quality. But actually, I think that kind of works well here because I put a limiter on it, so it wasn't just going to blow up your ears. But that kind of like above it, you can hear it's almost like somebody's unzipping something when it gets too loud. I think that's fine. I think in this song it works well, and with everything else, yeah. Yeah, so that's obviously the same as the same chord progression as just the verse. Bass is going off a little bit. Yeah, and then we got my own solos, my contribution to this endeavor. Yeah, so a little different approach. What was that based off of? Oh, I know what it is. I think I was hearing in my head. That's like a little riff that I might have took from. I just can't wait to be king. Um, People looking all my way. That's not the words, is it? Free to do it all my way, or whatever it is. But yeah, that sort of section there. I think I was hearing that in my head, and I took a little motif from that. And then I do like this last part. I was trying to hit those notes really hard because it makes for an interesting, like, you know. Yeah. And I like that we end on like a G major arpeggio, but it's still an E minor chord. And yeah, it's a nice sound there. And so we got some melodica here. Those are just for the harmony, even though the flutes are also doing harmony in and of themselves. Oh no, they're not. They're just playing that. and then you guys are harmonizing. Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Flute and melodica again. I'm telling you, it's an unlikely or an unexpected combo maybe for some people. But back when I was doing the Zelda and Mario medleys, which I don't know. There's maybe I need to do some more of those. They were really fun, or maybe from some other video games. They just take so much time. I tell you, especially filming them and editing them. But they are a blast. But you know, before I was really back the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask one, I was basically all of the melodies were, for the most part, flute and melodica, and I was always shocked by like how well they meshed together. So that's what I did there. And bass line. Yeah. I was hearing that lick for the whole time, and I saved it for this part, but I was always hearing ba-da, ba-da, ba-do, 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 ba. That low E there, and so that's what I did there, and it kind of goes along with. Yeah, I don't know if all those notes really work together, but it goes by so fast that it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there we go. And then we're back into the song. So yeah, that's a fun little solo section. He was just like, he had the trumpet solo, and he was like, just add something else there. And the wood block is just ta 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 the whole time. It's pretty fun. It's not intrusive. It's just a fun little thing. And then our bass lick in this gap. Pretty simple there. Oh, the wood block is staying throughout the rest of the song. I forgot. And then here's our last hurrah before it's over. I really like this bass part here. Yeah, so the same stuff here. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I forgot about that, but yeah, it ends on a major chord. They call that the Picardy third, if I'm not mistaken. So instead of the ba-ba-da, it's ba-da. Yeah, it ends on a little happiness. 'Cause I've had
I know how I flow, then I've had it.
There you go. And first time we actually are including some vocal harmony, so I just added an extra 4 tracks here.
I go fast and you stay slow. I'm all yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I flow, then I've had it.
Okay, here I almost assuredly used Varispeed.
I go fast and you stay slow. I'm all yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I flow, then I've had it.
Even that was a bit of a stretch, but I think that was real. Here,
I go fast and you stay slow.
I messed up the word there.
Fast and you say slow. I'm all yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I flow, then I've had it.
That last note is funny. Had it! I can't. I don't know. I think I just phoned it in for this part. I was tired. It was the end of the day. I was like, I want to finish this, but my voice was tired. This was really strained. I probably could have done better than that at a better time. But that's why it sounds like.
I go fast and you stay slow.
Like my voice doesn't actually sound like that, and that was Varispeed. Let me see how I actually probably recorded it. Maybe down either 1 or 2. It's not that much, but.
I'm all yes and you say no.
That's probably what it was.
I go fast and you stay slow. I'm all yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I flow.
No, it must have been down 2. And so that's when it actually sounds like human, like it's actually me.
I go fast and you say slow. I flow, then I've had it.
It's still not pretty, but it's all blended in, and you can barely hear it. It's fine. And so you got all together.
I go fast and you.
I forgot to switch it back. I do like doing that though. I'm getting off on all these tangents, but I do like just messing around with different tunings for songs that I've already done because it totally changes how it sounds, and you know.
I go fast and you stay slow. I'm all yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I.
Or you could even like, you know.
I go fast and you stay slow. I'm a yes and you say no. If you can't figure out by now how I flow, then I've had it.
Now it's really Jacob Collier. Anyways, that's not what this is about. Just got a little distracted there, but yeah. Yeah, and that's how it ends. We do get an extra little.
Out by now how I flow, then I've had it.
We get a nice another just tss, a cymbal that dies out quickly, and that's the ending of the song. Just wanted an extra little. After the solo, you go right back into one last chorus, and then you're done. Not too terribly long of a song, just under 2.5 minutes. And again, you know, it's the first song on my album because I thought it packed a punch, and I thought it was gonna hook people in, make them want to listen to the rest. Not that the rest is kind of very different than this. We'll get into that later. But yeah, a fun first song. And just overall, it was a lot of fun to work on. It was stuck in my head for days after. Hopefully it is for you too. There are worse things to be stuck in your head. And yeah, it really it's a fun one. And my dad, I think, is currently working on 1 or 2 songs that sort of act as like brothers or sisters or what have you for this song, sort of a companion song. One of them, Knew It, I think is what it's called. And then I forget what the other one is. But yeah, I suggested he should do all of the verbs as something it. Like blew it, threw it. I don't know why they all have to rhyme, but they don't. Had it, took it, want it, just whatever. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But real quick, we can go through these lyrics. Again, I didn't write these, so there's not as much I can say about them. I can say like what they mean to me and what I've gathered. But yeah, I did not come up with these. That was all my dad. But they're nice. They're catchy. I don't know if I've asked him if there's a specific backstory for this. It just definitely sort of to me has this sort of it's obviously minor, but it's not like a sad song. It's kind of just this like rebellious, almost like it's addressed to somebody that you're frustrated with, but you're still trying to like be coy about it or be fun about it. So like, sort of malicious compliance. Well, if you want all this stuff, all right, you ask for it, like you're about to get it, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what every verse says to me. You called it. I wrote you a poem and you just called it over sentimental noise. You threw it away. Thought you were a friend. You let me down. I let you. I tried to do all this. Tried to learn your chemistry. I think this line was initially I tried to teach you chemistry, the same as I tried to teach you history. But my dad did tell me, he was like, you can change that line because I don't know. I feel like it sounds like a little creepy now. I don't know. I didn't read it that way. But yeah, like I tried to teach you all these things. And that wasn't the intention, of course. Like it's not supposed to be like a stalkery or like creepy thing. So we changed it to collectively. We decided to change it to I tried to learn your chemistry. So it does make it feel more like this mutual exchange that just went awry. So that's sort of what I gather from this. It's kind of a cathartic song, I think, because everybody maybe has somebody like this in their life, and yeah. So every verse, every chorus rather, is kind of this hello goodbye. I forgot the name of the song, the Beatles song. You say yes, I say no. You say stop, and I say I don't know. No, that's not it. I say, you say why, and I say I don't know. I haven't listened to the Beatles in a while. Maybe I should. That sort of a thing. I go fast and you go slow. So, I mean, it's a pretty simple formula there. It's just you present one thing and then say the opposite. But it does lead to some really catchy and fun little rhymes there. Now I think it's time for me to go because I've had it. And I do like the creative use of like had it that he uses. Like it's a little different. Like I've had it. Like I'm done. That's one meaning of it. Like I've had it. I'm finished with you. But there's also the second meaning. Like if I had it. Like I'd give you more if I had it. I think that's a fun little double meaning there. So good on you, Dad. And so yeah, you just sort of play on that, and that's how it goes. Also, another line that was hard to figure out how to make work. Oh, you can't see it right now. I'm sorry. If you can't figure out by now how I flow, then I've had it. It's just a lot of words to fit into that, small space. But I think I made it work. By now, how I flow, how out by now. I don't remember how I went about it, but I do remember that being a tricky line to make it work. But again, all's well that ends well, and this is what we have here, and that's that. Fun song, really is, and again, not too much going on, honestly, and I left the percussion pretty sparse. I did have a little bit more initially, as I said, but got rid of that. And yeah, the guitar part, it's pretty fun, pretty clean. Nice bass line, few solos, that's all it takes. So, I mean, I think I'm about done here. I'm going to come back to y'all. 3, 2, 1. Magic never gets old. Guys, thank you for watching. Again, I don't know quite the exact timeline on when I'm going to be able to do the next one. I actually do wish I had mentioned this. I have another album coming out on Spotify and other platforms as well. I'll put it on YouTube as well. It's a cover album, but that I've been working on for a couple months now. There's 10 songs on it. Count them. They're all there. It's a James Taylor cover album. Big surprise. I've been working on a lot of James Taylor. I had a resurgence of James Taylor energy recently, which inspired me, of course, to get that new Gibson guitar that you saw earlier, because I've been trying to recreate that sound, and I've been playing it like nonstop for months. Really trying to get just to hone the James Taylor skills. And I think you're going to be hearing some of that in some of my new songs, and maybe I'll incorporate some of that style in there as well. But yeah, I just occurred to me, like, I've got enough songs recorded to warrant doing a full cover album, and it might not even be not even be just the one. We'll see. There could be another one in the future, because there's just so many good James Taylor songs. There were a lot that didn't make it on this album, but it's called Sweet Baby Miles, after Sweet Baby James. It's cute, and 10 James Taylor songs on it, really mixed from like the entire era. There's some that are classics and some that are more recent. I say more recent, they're still about 20 years old at this point, but some from his later albums. So trying to mix it up, not just do all the most popular songs, though there are some classics on there that everybody should know. So go check that out. I think by the time you're watching this, it's probably pretty close to out. And why did I mention that? Oh, it was because I don't think I'm going to be doing any breakdown videos of those, but I have been busy with that as well as school stuff. And so, that's what I've been doing. So you can go listen to those if you please. And look forward to, whenever I'm able to do it, more of these breakdown videos, because I always have a blast doing it. And yeah, some of these later songs I'm really excited to get into. So thank you for watching. My snowman is well, he'll be much flatter soon. It kind of takes him a while to get fully flat, but yeah. And this little card here from my grandma. It's your day. I mean, I think every day could be counted as my day, depending on how I look at it. But that's because my birthday is very soon. It's actually from the time I'm filming this in 5 days. And then I will no longer be a sniveling teenager. I'll be a sniveling young 20-year-old, which is crazy to think about. I feel like I'm still, 16, 17, but at the same time I don't. It's weird. I feel like time is frozen. But I honestly couldn't even quantify if you were to ask me how old I feel. But it is still jarring, beyond the teenage threshold and going into another decade. It's a bit of a shock, but yeah, it's about time. I think I'm ready for it, and I think I've been talking for long enough. I have unfinished business to tackle. I'm currently reading through the entire Harry Potter series. I started about a week ago. Actually, almost 2 weeks ago, maybe at this point. And I'm almost halfway through the fifth book, the longest one. And that's been a lot of fun. That's a whole nother tangent. But I'd like to get to that and some homework tonight. So I will leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and just have a good one. Peace out.